Welcome back to Mocha at Marchelle's, a place where we sip, we heal, we grow, and we rise together. This is where we talk about the real things, the heart things, the soul things, the chapters we don't always post about, but absolutely live through. And today, we're talking about a season many of us know all too well. That moment when life becomes unrecognizable, when confidence slips away piece by piece, and when you're forced to rebuild from places you've never imagined you'd even stand. If you're in a chapter where you're trying to find your footing again, this episode is going to meet you right where you are. This is where your healing becomes conversation, your story becomes strength, and your journey to deeper understanding starts right now. I call this episode Rebuilding Confidence After Chaos, Turning Pain into Power, because there are seasons in life where the chaos doesn't hit you all at once. It comes in like layers, quiet at first, subtle, and then suddenly you're standing in a life that feels completely unfamiliar. This past season, for me, wasn't just a fall. It was a wipeout. And if you've ever seen a surfer get wiped out by a wave, you know that water doesn't just take you down. It tosses you, it spins you, it confuses your sense of direction until you don't even know which way is up. And that was me. And this episode is about how I came back up for air. So let's talk about the chaos and what broke my confidence. Because on the outside, I looked like I was managing. I was showing up, I was functioning, but inside, my confidence was unraveling thread by thread, not all at once. I walked through a divorce, then I lost my mentor and friend of 21 years, lost my stable income. My children witnessed a trauma. And then I found myself judged in court on my parenting. The relationship I was in was rocky and unstable. And the financial insecurity was just screaming. And then on top of that, I hit 40 and feeling the weight of age, physical changes, and honestly, exhaustion. And the funny thing is that in my 20s, I had like this youthful fire, a belief that I could push through anything. But this season didn't just challenge me. It stripped me. This wasn't a stumble, and it was a wipeout. So I had to really kind of trace the wound backwards. Rebuilding required me to face a bunch of hard truths, and truth that traced me back to when I was 16, when my father was taken away and wrongfully accused and imprisoned. And that trauma taught me to perform strength, even when I didn't feel supported. But the imprint, I realized, went back even further. Growing up between two homes filled with love, but also chaos, learning to survive two different emotional climates, and then being uprooted at 10 to live with my aunt in Chicago. I love her. Every shift just added this layer of armor that I didn't even know I was wearing. So when adult chaos hit, it exposed the childhood wounds that were still running my life. And this was kind of like the turning point, rising up after this wipeout. So there's this moment after every wipeout where you stop fighting the waves and you kind of just float. My turning point came in these small moments. The day I didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. The afternoon that I moved through life just completely numb. The nights that I cried in the shower so no one would hear me. And the quiet moment when I whispered, I can't keep doing life like this. I didn't have a plan, but I had truth. And truth became the beginning of my rebuild. The turning point wasn't about strength. It was about surrender. And when I surrendered, peace found its way in. As I began rebuilding myself, I learned something important. Your life, your peace, your legacy, they all need structure. That's why SMB Professional Services exists. From notary work to trust documents to essential services that support your household, SMB is here to help families create clarity, protection, and peace of mind. So if you're ready to organize your legacy, buy or sell real estate, visit SMB Professional Services. Rebuilding confidence. So the slow, quiet rise. Rebuilding, I promise you, was not glamorous. It was humbling. And I have this joke with my dad, the humble pie season. So when I lost my income, I started delivering groceries. Hey, can't knock the hustle. Me, a mother, an entrepreneur, licensed realtor, delivering groceries to fund my dreams and keep my children stable. I call it humble pie season. There were days I drove through tears, but still showed up with a smile and a song in my heart. But in that humbling space, my confidence began to regrow. There was creativity in the low season. I slipped postcards into groceries so that it became like my lead generating. I got paid to lead generate. Little seeds of hope. And one of those postcards led to my first listing, breakthrough, born inside the breakdown. These two spoons conversations. So I told my dad, it's funny because one of my days of feeling sorry for myself, said it feels like I'm digging myself out of a hole with two little spoons. And he said, if those are your only tools, be grateful for the spoons. And if you didn't have the spoons, you dig out with your hands. Claw your way out with hands and nails. But either way, you get out. And I did. Every step upgraded my tools. Spoons became a shovel. Shovel became a bigger shovel. Eventually, that shovel became a bulldozer. Right in the middle of that humbling season, our family store was born. A place filled with practical, intentional products for families, homes, kids, and everyday life. It's more than a store. It's a piece of our family's rebuild. Visit www.ourfamilystore.net. From our family to yours. Okay, so back to returning to dreams I once started. So again, this season pushed me to revisit dreams that once had seeds but no water. I don't know if you guys remember, but I actually launched a podcast before. It was called Conversations Over Coffee for loanclosers.com. And so I relaunched my podcast. And this time I didn't have a team. I didn't have a studio, no help, just me, my voice, and my purpose. And that built confidence. Years ago, I had pitched an e-commerce idea. Same thing for loanclosers.com. And it never really took off. But in this season, I built one from scratch. Learning, failing, fixing, growing. These weren't just projects. They were evidence. Proof that I was still capable. Still creative. Still powerful. Brick by brick, dream by dream, I rebuilt myself. As life began elevating, so did the services around our family. For your luxury travel moments, airport runs, celebrations, date nights, Lux Life Transportation delivers black car excellence. When you want the moment to feel elevated, choose Lux Life. Okay, I'm back. Turning pain into power, because I realized that pain didn't weaken me. It refined me. Pain became my teacher, showing me where I hurt, which is where I needed boundaries, where old wounds were still active. Pain also became my compass, pointing me away from what drained me and toward what aligned me with who I was becoming. Pain became my fuel, reminding me that I had survived worse and could rise again. Pain became my platform, not something I hide, but something I stand on. Now when I speak from experience. When I teach from survival. When I build from wisdom. When I mother from presence. When I dream from resilience. When I love from healing, not from wounds. When I stand on ground I earned. This isn't fake confidence. This is, I fought for this version of myself. And the woman who fights for herself is powerful. So looking back, I didn't just survive chaos. I transformed inside of it. I rebuilt confidence with humility, with honesty, with courage, with creativity, with therapy, with faith, and with the willingness to become someone new. If you're rebuilding right now, hear me. You're not behind and you're not broken. You're becoming. This isn't the end of your story. It's your construction site. And when the dust settles, you'll see exactly what was being built. Thank you for spending this time with me today on Mocha at Marchelle's. I hope this episode met you where you are and reminded you of who you are becoming. If today's conversation spoke to you, I invite you to follow, rate, and share the podcast so we keep growing in this space together. Your healing matters. Your story matters. And I'm honored to walk this journey with you. Until next time, I'm Stavonne Marchelle, and I'll meet you back here on the next episode.